We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
You love to watch the games, who won, why'd they win, why'd they not win, what happened, bad decision, good decision, big play, bad play. We're going to spend some time talking about lawsuits and fighting because your Mountain West Pac-12 or Pac whatever thing is gotten, and I don't want to say getting, I think it's gotten there. It's gotten nasty. We're going to get there. We got a lot to do with that and the lawsuit. I got a lot of thoughts on that. NIL conflict at UNLV, baseball that's crazy. What's up, boys and girls? Merry Wednesday. Boy, do we got a lot to get through today on the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Glad you're with us this morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal. How you living?
What it do?
I'm almost programmed now. Almost. Can I kind of start you with, and I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but can I turn up some audio on, you know how Van Pelt starts with the best thing I saw today, which I think is brilliant.
Yes.
This is insane. Maybe standalone a triple play isn't insane. Maybe standalone clinching a playoff spot isn't insane. Maybe winning a game during a pennant race against your arch rival isn't insane. But when you put it all together, it's pretty insane. The courtesy is going to go to Padres television. Dodgers-Padres last night in Los Angeles. Dodgers are up 3 games on San Diego. San Diego owns the tiebreaker. There's 6 games left this season. Dodgers and Padres playing a 3-game set in Los Angeles. Game 1 last night. 4-2 Padres, bottom of the 9th. Dodgers get 2 on to open up the 9th. Miguel Rojas is the batter. Here is the call. If you've not heard this, if you haven't seen it, find it. Here's the call on Padres television last night.
Rojas on the ground at third. Machado touches third, fires to second. Out there. Oh, that's first. Oh, my goodness. It's a triple play.
All right, that sounds like crap. Sorry. I thought it sounded better the first time I ran it through. That's a triple play to end the game. Ground ball to third. Manny Machado grabbed it, stepped on the bag. I guess I could have told you that. I would have sounded better. Better than that. JJ, I don't know. Put that in perspective. And the Padres announcement says, is this the year for the faithful finally? The Padres have never won the World Series. Padres have been around since the 60s. Padres spent a lot of money. Padres just went up to L.A. and made this thing really interesting. Dodgers got a run the first. They ran themselves out of it. Mookie Betts got picked off at third. They tried that, runner first and third, steal second thing. And Padres threw down. They got the guy in a rundown and then picked Mookie at third base, and they only got 1 run. I thought they wasted it then. Have you ever put that in perspective? Because that's an insane ending for a game to clinch a playoff spot.
It's one of those moments that could ignite a team, and it could flip it where the Padres are division champs and are able to go on a run, but the postseason in Major League Baseball is one I always take a step back.
Yeah.
Because as much as we talk about the Dodgers and the pressure, you could also start looking at the Padres and start saying that same thing. You've spent $1 bajillion on your franchise as well over the last few years. And what have you got? Well, now you've got a fantastic race final week of the regular season against the Dodgers, and to end the game on a triple play, that is absolutely a moment you could look back on and say, this is when they really believe something special could happen.
They do. And that's, on the broadcast last night, is this the year finally for the favorite? I mean, those are the kind of things that, I believe in that just the weird, unexplicable sometimes, the intangibles, the moments like that. And Dodger fan, I know you don't want to hear it. And I'm not telling you it's over. I'm just telling you, dude, if you're a Padre fan, and I know a lot of them, last night is one of those where, holy smokes, you'll never forget that one. If you stayed up late and watched it, that's one to clinch a playoff on the road in a playoff or in a pennant race against your arch rival, and you turn a triple play to end the game. I mean, JJ, holy smokes, I don't know what you believe in, but that is something else. Padres are 50-49 at the All-Star break. Since then, they are Major League best 41-17. They're clicking. Fernando Tatis is back from a 10-week absence. Darvish returned from a 3-month hiatus. They look good. And, that's a roster, man. Just watch them in the playoffs. The playoffs start next week. Astros clinched last night, too. Alex Bregman hit a home run in that game. And they were 10 games back at one point, where the Houston Astros. And they're going back to the playoffs as the American League West champions. So a ton to do. Dodger fan, yeah. Is it time to get nervous? Yeah. Hell yes, it is. You may be a wild card team. I mean, if you were to bet right now with 5 games left to go in the way the Padres are playing right now, and the Padres have the tie break. Now, I guess you take the team who's up 2 instead of down 2.
But we know the questions the Dodgers have with the pitching staff and
with the Padres.
You said everything is just clicking, and that's a long run to go on. And the added pressure.
Yeah. So I think it's all there. Just watch it. Find it if you can. It's really, really, really good stuff. All right. A ton to do today. I didn't intend to start there. But, man, I don't know how you get away from a triple play to clinch a playoff spot. I mean, it's just one of those, wow. Orioles clinched a playoff spot last night, too, by the way. Team that had been scuffling. They beat the Yankees last night 5-3. And then there's other stuff still going on between, you've got Minnesota and Detroit in that last wild card spot in Kansas City in the American League. So there's a lot of baseball to watch. Mets and Braves are going at each other for a wild card spot, and the Diamondbacks are in there as well. Diamondbacks got run out of their own built yesterday, 11-0 by San Francisco, and with the Atlanta win, boy, wouldn't it be something if it was the Diamondbacks who fell apart? Because basically people are thinking it's the Mets and the Braves playing the series for the last wild card. Well, if the Diamondbacks fall apart, they're only a half game in front of the Braves right now. So you got a lot of races going on and a lot of baseball that matters. I know there's a lot of stuff that matters around here as well, and I want to get into the Mountain West stuff and JJ. When I guess nothing surprises me, and I talked to a lot of people about this yesterday, and I've got thoughts about the lawsuit. So the Pac-12 filed a lawsuit yesterday against the Mountain West, and I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to pretend to be. I'll lean on one. I spoke to 2. There was the poaching penalty. And when the Pac-12 needed a scheduling alliance last year, they came to the Mountain West, and the Mountain West bailed them out, right? Bailed them out. Now, they paid for it. I think they paid $13-14 million to schedule these games. But the Mountain West, and this is where a lot of you who are questioning Gloria and the leadership of the Mountain West protected themselves with this poaching penalty. That, hey, yeah, that's cool, but, man, if you start stealing our teams to rebuild your league, it's going to cost you $12 million per team. And they signed it. And now the Pac-12 is claiming under duress. And I just, you knew what you were doing. By many accounts, there was a mole in the room in the Mountain West telling the Pac-12 everything that was going on, everything that they had going. I don't even know where they sit, and I almost appreciate you taking a swing to try to get out of it, right? Hey, let's take a swing and see if we can get out of the $55 million we owe them. Okay, I guess I kind of understand it. Well, maybe we can cut the money and they'll settle.
You understand it, but I don't appreciate anything those two schools have done because they spent the entire summer crying that they were left behind playing the woe is me game and just immediately did the same thing.
Yeah, and when it happens to you, it's horrible. When you do it to someone else, well, I mean, it's just the way it is.
It's been business. It's always been business.
Yeah.
But you wanted to be America's sweethearts.
And they're not anymore. I just, and maybe they are. Maybe nobody cares about Nevada, New Mexico, Wyoming, Hawaii, whoever gets left behind, right? Except for those schools.
Except for us.
Except for those fan bases and those people who are affected by it. But the suit claims that the action challenge, this is quoting from the suit, the action challenges an anti-competitive and unlawful poaching penalty the MWC imposed on the Pac-12 to inhibit competition for member schools in collegiate athletics. The poaching penalty saddles the Pac-12 an exorbitant and punitive monetary fees for engaging in competition by accepting MWC member schools into the Pac-12. Mountain West Conference imposed this poaching penalty, and this is my favorite part, at a time when the Pac-12 was desperate to schedule football games for its two remaining members and had little leverage to reject this naked restraint on competition, end quote. Then you shouldn't have signed it. Well, then what were we going to do? I don't know, man. Plenty of schools have been independent. You could have gone out and scheduled how you needed to schedule. Kind of like you're doing next year, by the way. Right? Kind of like they're doing
Exactly.
right? I really struggle with this. And Gloria Navarez put out a response, basically, saying, I mean, it's BS. I know that's paraphrasing it. But you entered into something. You knew what you were entering into. You knew, and you're not going to convince me you didn't know what your plan was. Your plan was to poach these schools. And you've taken out your plan, and the Mountain West needed protection. You're leaving behind a number of institutions, whatever that number of institutions is, who are monetarily affected, obviously competitively affected, emotionally affected for their fan bases. And yeah, there's going to be a penal monetary compensation. And you agreed to it. You signed it. You had, as Gloria said in her response, what was it like? What did she call the legal team that they had? Very, very good, whatever. I'm looking for whatever it was. But they signed it with legal. It's not like they just signed it without having lawyers there. They had legal representation. They knew what they were doing. I don't even know how this gets to court.
Why would you not challenge just before you signed it? Why would you not say, hey, this is against yada, yada, yada?
Yeah.
There's exit fees involved. We do not need to agree to poaching fees on the ball. And then I'd also look at...
And if the deal broke down, then go schedule games.
Yeah. And then I'd also look at Oregon State and Washington State. Now, I know there wasn't poaching penalties on it, but I'd be like, why do you guys have a war chest? How do you think you got a war chest?
Yeah.
The word that everyone loves to use.
Because everybody else had to pay to get out of your league, get away from you. And now you're doing it, and you want to leave the Mountain West, who has way less resources than you had to begin with. Yeah, it bothers me on so many fronts. You want to form your league, man. But you made agreements, pay your fees, and go on. You're trying to destroy that league. Now I firmly believe they're trying to destroy the Mountain West. And I don't
get
understand.
Out of everything, absolutely.
You know what I don't understand? And we can hit this on the other side because I know we're late on this. I don't understand why the fan bases from the teams who are leaving are so angry at the Mountain West and the teams that are left behind and want to see ill done to the Mountain West.
Because they're preventing them from their glorious takeover of being
what?
In another group of 5 league.
Being what? Being rid of New Mexico and Wyoming, as they keep saying? I just don't understand where the vitriol is coming from. And now, now I do. I mean, now it's there. Now you're in court and you're battling over millions of dollars. But lawyers, come on in. Help me with this one. Because this one seems cut and dry. 505-246-0610. We'll get into the NIL dispute that looks like it's going to cost UNLV their quarterback headed into their game against Fresno State and the rest of the season. He's not hurt. He's not academically ineligible, but he's not going to play either, at least as of now. Why that is and what that may mean to, the Mountain West and to UNLV. We'll do that when we get back as well. Hey, searching for a place to hold an event, you need a venue. I got it for you, and it's the Albuquerque Convention Center. I know you've been there. You're like, well, yeah, Jeff, it's so big. Look, whether you're having an event, a party, a gala, a meeting, a convention, for 10 people or 20,000 people, whatever it is, they will take care of you. They got over 600,000 square feet of flexible, beautiful indoor and outdoor meeting space. They do everything, and they do it well. They do events. They host the Isleta New Mexico Bowl teams on Thursday night during Bowl Week for a big event that we do there. Their food and beverage options are spectacular. Their staff is great. They go above and beyond. And the people who go to your event will love the event. They're going to be glad they're there, and it's going to be the event people want to go to. You've got to plan the holiday party, huh? Easy. Downtown. Be at the center of it all. Be at the Albuquerque Convention Center. They got diverse spaces, and they will take care of you, whether it's an expo, a conference, a staff, or a staff meeting, whatever. Call the Albuquerque Convention Center, ask them about what's going on, or just look online. It's all at albuquerquecc.com, and then you can call them at 505-768-4575. Area code 505-768-4575. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. Be at the center of it all.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green. I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
UNLV is kind of on the clock, right? They reaffirmed their commitment to the Mountain West Monday, but they backed away from that commitment when Utah State backed out of the commitment that they had all made to stay together. So I think this is partially they're almost playing tug of war over UNLV right now, right? Because
yes,
I mean both of them are at 7, and you need to be at 8 minimum. So I think they're playing tug of war over UNLV, and I think they're putting the Pac-12 is telling them, look, man, we're gonna win this lawsuit, and so that extra 50, 60, whatever $1 million isn't going to be there. So you're going to get a lot less money. You come here, and I'm sure they're showing them a package that says you're going to make more money here, and we're going to get $15 million, although nobody's given them $15 million in annual television revenue. But over there, you're only getting whatever you're getting 6, and this is better, and you want to be on the right side of a lawsuit. You want to be the one suing, not getting sued. So I think that might be part of the impetus in why and certainly when the lawsuit was filed, to kind of put pressure on UNLV to be on the quote-unquote right side of the lawsuit. Now, I don't know what the right side is when it's all said and done in court. As I look at it as a layperson, they signed it. They signed it willingly. They signed it with legal counsel. They signed it not under duress. They certainly could have gone out and scheduled independently like UMass does, like Notre Dame does, like New Mexico State did. It's like they will next year. Like, where's the duress that they were under? They could have gone a different route. Yeah, they paid for the service, but they also signed this. And then I think, hell, I owe $55 million, whatever the number is. Hell, I'm going to sue to see if I can get out of it. Maybe we can negotiate the number down.
And one thing, sitting here trying to take a step back to and say, all right, how would we be feeling? What would our conversations be like?
If you're on the other side of this?
If there was a X post that said official, Mexico, Pac-12.
What do you mean?
It's still dirty. It's still unfortunate. You say, well, it's business. Well, it seems to be a little bit shady business. From trying to work together for a year to see if it works, and then just to have your house guests rob you when you fall asleep.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, and someone to be robbed from within. Yeah. Yeah, and look, you had a bunch of ADs sitting in a room or on a call or wherever it was. Yeah, we're all together. And obviously 4 of them were on a separate group chat or in a separate room. And they pulled the chute. And then, what was it, Monday? You had the remaining 8 together, and Utah State pulled the chute. And it's interesting up there because the athletic director there, she's under a ton of heat, right? And I think there's a part of this, she had to do this. Maybe this makes her fan base feel better because she is just not very popular up there with this whole, the Blake Anderson firing and the lawsuit that they've got going on at Utah State with their former football coach who was fired and I mean, they got a mess up there. Literally, it's a mess. She is not very popular. And so she can say, well, I got you into the Pac-12.
It's huge.
Right? I saved you. I did that. Now back off me on the Blake Anderson stuff. Okay. All right. I think there's a little bit of that, why that all went down. It's going to be interesting, man. You said it, and a lot of people say it. All this just to get into another group of 5 league. All this to, as I keep hearing, well, at least we don't have to play New Mexico and Wyoming anymore. Right? I mean, how many times have you heard that, read that, seen that?
I think it's just highlights where college athletics is, that the need to survive is the potential for maybe doubling your television contract, or getting from $6 to $10 million, because they think it's going to be 15 plus. The fact that
it's not.
The powers that run college football, which is everyone that's not in the Mountain West and or future pack, whatever, have told you that this does nothing. They're not changing college football playoff structure in terms of adding another automatic qualifier. They're still going to be chasing one of those group of 5 bids. So it really is, they think that they are that much more valuable without having
Wyoming and New Mexico,
those 3 or 4 schools that will get left behind.
Yeah. I got this on the text line. It came in yesterday, right as we were getting off the air. Jeff, why exactly are these other conferences wanting to get away from New Mexico? It's from Phil. And it's really why are these teams wanting to get away from New Mexico? And I've thought about this a lot. Is it the altitude? Is it football? Is it just football? Because when you look at Logan, Utah, and I'm sorry, I asked you a question, then I jumped in. I look at Utah State, and I look at that market, and I look at Logan, Utah. Like, you'd rather be there than in Albuquerque, in a major metropolitan area with a 46 television market. Is it all about I'm not certain I totally have a grasp on why. Well, it's altitude. Well, so is Logan, so is Colorado State, right? All these schools. Wow, we shouldn't have to play at altitude. Is it just football?
That's the only thing you can point to right now, because it's with Logan going. Like I thought the numbers that you referenced yesterday were really interesting in terms of
the viewership,
not just television market size, because what is evident over the last few years is that has really dropped down the list of meaningful things.
Let me give you those.
Because it's you can find alums of colleges everywhere, but to sit here and try to make an argument that, well, Utah State's near Salt Lake City, they are still well behind BYU and Utah in that state. And at some point, too, which no one seems to care about, even though they're athletic administrators, like, Logan ain't an easy trip for any of your teams.
What you refer to is Dennis Dodd of CBS talked about the media rights contract, and he gave the total viewership rankings since 2016 for football. And this is cumulatively of who's watching the games. And of the remaining Mountain West teams, out of 134 FBS teams, Air Force was 81st, Utah State 83, Wyoming 84, Hawaii 94, Nevada 100, New Mexico 102, San Jose State 103, UNLV 104. So that's what JJ was referring to. And I think the argument to be made is, look, we're going to get better. Oh, well, you've been saying that for a while. No, here's what we're going to do. We are going to, whether it's stadium improvements, whether it's whatever it is, and then when we get there, people are going to want to watch us more because we're going to be better. And the answer will be cute in some respects. 505-246-0610. I got to take this break. When we come back, I want to continue this conversation with you. You're ringing the phones. Your emails come in, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. We'll get into the NIL situation with the quarterback at UNLV as well. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing.
It's about football. This text says, specifically, it's our antiquated football stadium and the look of a half-empty stadium. Rocky Long sent it, warned the administration when that damn Krebs fired him. I mean, look, I said this the other day. This is the day it's all coming back. All this kicking it down the road, and, well, we'll worry about football. What about basketball, right? Richard Pitino held his press conference yesterday, and this was the opening of, practice. They've been practicing, but official practices. You can hold your email. Why are they practicing now? They're going to be worn out in February. You can hold it. They're all practicing. Every one of them, from Canisius to Grand Canyon to UCLA, they're all practicing. But JJ, Richard Pitino was asked about it. Obviously, he can't be happy about it. This was a great league. 6 bids last year. Here's Richard Pitino yesterday on his thoughts about what's happening in regards to the Mountain West, the Pac-12.
Disappointed solely from a basketball coach perspective because I know there's so many factors, and I think every coach will look at it differently and every student athlete will look at it differently. But I thought the men's basketball programs did an amazing job of really making the best of the situations that they had. And, first year have 4 teams in the NCAA, 1 in the NIT. Second year, 4 teams NCAA tournament, 1 in the NIT, and then 6 last year. I felt like we were really outperforming a lot of maybe that was being put into it. Not to say that we weren't being supported, but we don't have necessarily the resources that some of these other programs have. But it was awesome television. It was great to watch. The fans loved it, obviously here as well as everywhere else on the road. But decisions are being made right now that have nothing to do with men's basketball. And that's a tough pill to swallow because I know how important this league or this program is to this community. So it is ever changing, ever evolving. Who knows, what the next hour will bring. It just kind of is what it is, and I don't think we're going to see the end of it. I think the biggest thing that we could control as an athletic department, men's basketball program specifically, is just continuing to invest. We as I said the other day to somebody, it's not lost on me that we were top 25 in the country in attendance. We've got amazing support. And if we continue to do that, regardless of what league we play in, where we go, all those things, I think we'll be fine. But who knows where that'll be and where that all ends up.
Yeah, he's right. And you can hear the frustration, and I saw the video of it, and I know you were there. You could see the frustration. He's got to be pissed. And I thought he was perfect in his answer. But yeah, you're disappointed that some of those really good basketball schools are leaving, and we still don't know where we end up with this thing, right? You still just don't know how much, where we're going to end up. And I don't know. JJ, I can't blame him. What it does to basketball, I know so many of you. And we'll see. Where do you end up? I think UNLV is a big piece here, right? They're meeting today. I think we're going to get some movement on UNLV today. I really do. And
since this started to break, the one thing I was worried about is it was just going to divide Lobo fans further. And it was pretty evident yesterday on social media, and then the insistence about how there are a chunk of people that are ready to throw away that football team. Don't care what happens. Don't care where they play. But just make sure basketball doesn't get touched. And I don't know how that works.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, you know that.
They feel like, just throw them down to the FCS. Well,
yeah,
it's not a soft landing spot for basketball right now.
Yeah, no, and the guy John, right, who sent us the email, who is pretty adamant about, he's on Facebook. No matter what New Mexico Bowl Jeff says, we shouldn't put a nickel into that stadium. And his concept is
it doesn't have a concept.
Oh, no, his concept is just play. No, of course it doesn't work.
It's a concept of a plan that wouldn't work.
Of course it wouldn't work. Just field the football team. You're going to bring it. He says pay a coach a minimum. Don't put any resources. Just take as many pay games as you can pay to go get hammered, so you can fund basketball, and just field the football team because you have to. Pay a coach $250,000. Well, who's coming here? Who would come here? Well, anybody would try to be a head coach. No. Nobody's going to come where basically you're saying, we're just fielding a football team.
Well, if you're going to tell me you're never going to fire them,
we're here. I'm just here so we don't get fined. His concept is field the football team, but don't put any resources into it. Just go out and play Alabama, then play USC, then play Michigan, then play Auburn, then play whatever your conference slate is. Pay the coach the minimum. Don't put any resources into it. Just, play football because you have to. What? Being bad at football is what's got you where you are now.
Dude, and FCS conference wouldn't even take that model.
Of course they wouldn't. And the other one that I just don't understand, and I've tried to, is we'll just drop down to FCS and we'll be competitive. What makes you competitive at FCS right away? Or period? What makes you competitive if you, let's just say you drop in the Big Sky now and you're playing Montana State, those schools, Idaho.
You're not just going to drop down and be competitive.
But people think they're going to get the same athletes, the same coaches. You're not. You lose scholarships. You lose
people
money.
Don't care, Jeff. They don't care.
Well, then stop telling me. Then we'll drop down and be competitive and compete for championships. Because why?
What you need now is just a place to play FBS football
and a plan to be good at it. And I think they've got the beginnings of a plan. Go ahead. Finish.
Well, you're right. It's like you're not eliminating football right now. You're not dropping down to the FCS level because that would hurt your basketball program and take a while to get back from.
If ever. People think you can beat Gonzaga. How many Gonzagas are there? Honestly, how many? I think, I was thinking about this yesterday. I think your best bet would be to try to beat Dayton. Dayton, to me, would be the best comp you can have. A passionate fan base that loves their arena, right? And is good every once in a while, that plays in the A-10, that it's about basketball. I mean, that would be, that's your comp.
Yeah, but it would be uncharted territory, and that's where we're at. But there's not a track record of schools dropping down and then the other sports succeeding. Like, you have Idaho. What's Idaho basketball?
That's where I was going.
They might be winning some FCS football games, but that did not boost an athletic department when their football team went from FBS to FCS.
Well, Jeff, we're better than Idaho. Okay, you thought you were better than Utah State, too. The answer isn't just scrap football. And again, football's the reason you're here. Football's the reason you're in this situation. Because of what football's been for the last, pick your time frame. And, Richard's not wrong in a lot of what he said. I think you can hear the frustration. And when we come back, UNLV's quarterback's not playing. He's not hurt, but he's leaving the team. Why? They're 3-0. They're one of the teams that are being mentioned to be potentially the group of 5 representative in the New Year's 6 games in the playoff. He's not coming back. I'll tell you why when we come back. Can I also tell you about On the Spot Automotive Detailing? They are the best when it comes to detailing your vehicle. That means inside, outside, around the rims, under the hood, under the seats, like the car dealers do. Like the day you took the car off the lot, it was detailed. It felt and looked and smelled like it was brand new. You can have that again without getting a new car. On the Spot Automotive Detailing will come to you and do that for you. That's right, they come to you. Your effort here is to book the appointment. Then go outside and meet them and open up your car for them. Then go back in and do your work, do whatever it is you're doing, and then come out when they text you and say, "Wow, thank you. My car looks beautiful." That's your responsibility. One best of the city because they are best in the city. They also have ceramic tint, blocks 99% of UV and infrared rays. They've got the best 3M window tint on the market, ceramic coating to protect your paint. Go take a look at them online. They are great. They are a wonderful gift, by the way. If you're looking for a great gift that somebody wouldn't buy for themselves but will love, this is it. OTSDetailing.com is their website. It's OTSDetailing.com. Or just give them a call and book there, 505-859-2859. Area code 505-859-2859.
This report...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. Our law firm
where these promises are made to bring in high-quality players. I mean, that kid played at the FCS level. His stats were unbelievable, right?
Yep.
And left because I think his head coach ended up going to coach at James Madison, right?
Okay.
And so then he took that UNLV opportunity, and but I wouldn't be surprised to see more of these situations coming up, given the world that we're currently living in. But on the Mountain West thing and on the football thing in particular, I think your point there about football is exactly right. Right? At this point, the chickens have come home to roost. We have only had limited periods of success in football, and maybe you have a couple of years under Bob Davie where you went to 2 New Mexico Bowls, you won one, that's great, but really on either side of that, you had a number of seasons under Loxley where you had 1-win seasons. You didn't have sustained success under Danny Gonzalez. Davie did not have sustained success, and obviously we know where we are now. And so the chickens have come home to roost because, one, our football team historically has been bad. I mean, you take out those years of limited success, it's been a bad team, and not just 5-win season bad. No. Like really bad, scraping to get 1 win. And so that's why you're here. In addition to that, the facilities question, which we talk about all the time, is a part of this consideration, right? So they're going, hey, man, these people are not investing in their stadium. Their stadium is antiquated. It's out of date. It doesn't offer updated and modern amenities. I don't want to go there. I can't ask my fans to go there. And so it's all of these combination of factors, which is why we're here where we are. And if you think you're going to drop down to the FCS level and start winning some games, well, listen, I got news for you. You have Bronco Mendenhall, and at the beginning of the season when we hired him, it was flagged as the greatest hire of the offseason, right? Great coach, great track record for turning programs around. Well, guess what? He lost to an FCS program. That's Bronco Mendenhall with the talent that we're seeing on the field. Devin Dampier and the rest of them. So you're not going to have that talent at coaching. You're not going to have that talent on the field. And you think you're going to win any games?
But see, some people don't care, Travis.
And you can't beat Montana State?
Some people don't care. The people who want to go down don't care. It's about basketball, which I understand. But this is why you're here. If you're going to do something, do it well. I mean, that's what I was always told. If you're going to do something, do it the best you can, or don't freaking do it, right? And I mean that's what they're trying to do with football. The answer isn't. And Toby sent me a text. He said, "Calm down." He said, that guy. What did he tell me? He said, "Calm down. The guy's a moron." New topic. You're not moving down, okay? And you're not just quitting on football, just throwing a product out there. So, I mean, that's very few people. I think we're responding to a drip of one. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we are anymore.
Well,
No.
Well, the dumbest positions are always the loudest positions, to be clear. But I mean, and the idea that making a move like that isn't going to absolutely devastate our basketball program, I mean, it is just asinine, quite frankly. But on the duress part.
Quick.
Black letter law here, and look, I'm a lawyer.
Quick.
But the black letter law here is that it requires the wrongful conduct of the other party, which places the individual contracting to feel the duress and pressure and not have the free will to enter into a contract. There's no doubt that those two schools were under the duress, right? They just lost their entire conference, right? But we meaning the Mountain West did not place them in that situation.
Yeah. Hey, I got to hit this break.
The Mountain West didn't do it.
I agree with
Thanks,
you.
Guys.
Thanks. No, I'd appreciate a lawyer's perspective on that. That's what we've been saying. We'll continue. Keep them coming. I got a ton of response for you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, you got a lot to say, and I don't really blame you. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. And Travis, I'm sorry to cut you off there at the top of the hour, because that's kind of what I was looking for was, an attorney, and I didn't know Travis was an attorney, but from his point of view, the Mountain West did not create the duress. He says, yeah, there was duress from those two teams, Washington State and Oregon State, to sign a scheduling agreement, but the Mountain West did not put them in that duress. I would even argue the duress. We're talking about the Mountain West being sued by the Pac-12. The Pac-12 wants to get out of the poaching fee penalty, saying that it violates competition laws, and they signed the deal. And let me push back a second on the duress, and I'll lean on some of the attorneys as well. They needed to schedule because there were only 2 teams and they didn't have a conference with whom to schedule. But it is not unprecedented that college football teams at the FBS level had a schedule without a conference. New Mexico State did it for how many years? Notre Dame does it every year. Oh, by the way, Oregon State and Washington State are going to do it next year. So, yeah, they did have an option. It's not like, well, we had nowhere else to go, so we had to sign this ridiculous clause. We were under duress, and we had no choice. I would push back. You could have scheduled each one of these teams individually. The teams that you were sleeping with in the back room that you poached, I'm sure San Diego State and Boise State and Colorado State and Fresno State would have scheduled you and gone out and scheduled an individual or an independent schedule, just like Massachusetts does, like Notre Dame does. Tell me where I'm wrong on that.
I don't see a lot of wrongness in that statement.
UConn schedule's independent. Well, they have all these years to do it. I don't know, man. Go out and figure it out. But then you sign the deal with legal counsel. Did legal counsel say,
I feel like they locked the doors and the Mountain West wouldn't let them leave the room? You duct tape their hands to the table?
I don't get it. Did legal counsel tell them at the time, we'll sign it, we'll get out of it when it comes time to pay? It's not going to hold weight in court. And so now, see, I'm telling you, and I firmly believe this, the timing of the lawsuit, and again, the Pac-12 is suing the Mountain West. They want to get out of the poaching fees, which is, at this point, $50-something million. And if they get UNLV, it'll be more, and another $10 million. The timing of this certainly is to put pressure on UNLV. UNLV, from what I understand, their brain trust is meeting today to discuss where they want to go. UNLV on Monday committed to the Mountain West, just like the rest of the schools, including Utah State, until Utah State didn't, pulled the chute, bailed. And then UNLV said, well, hold on. Everything was contingent on all 8. I don't think it was contingent on Utah State, but it was contingent on all 8. So now UNLV's got to decide they want to go the Pac, they want to stay in the Mountain West and rebuild that. And I think the Pac-12 is putting the pressure, saying, hey, there's not going to be nearly as much money as you think, because we're going to win this lawsuit. And here's why. And they're laying out everything their lawyers are telling them. Right? You want to be on the side of the lawsuit that's getting sued or suing. Well, I don't like getting sued. I don't think anybody does. You'd rather be on the plaintiff's side as opposed to the defendant's side, right? And so I think that's quite strategic. And that's being weighed in the UNLV rooms, I'm sure, as they're going through these conversations. All right. This one says, calm down, Travis. The Lobos are evolving. Yes, Montana State is an FCS school, a premier FCS school. Coach put them in a position to win. Coach didn't drop passes or miss field goals. Prior to Mendenhall in the past, the intention wasn't to hire unsuccessful coaches. It just ended up that way. The only thing we truly have is the right now. The Lobo football team will end up with a winning season. I don't know if they'll end up with a winning season.
I think that
they'll
person
win games.
misheard what Travis was saying.
Yeah.
He was defending the fact you'd lose a quality coach and players by thinking no support and or somehow putting that conference in an FCS program is going to keep basketball status quo.
I think that's right. Yeah. And Montana State, by the way, is 4-0 right now. I mean, that's,
It's a really hard spot to tell people to calm down right now. The uncertainty of the athletic future. Knowing that everyone at this moment in time is getting their resume ready.
Mm-hmm.
and just to be like, hey, we love basketball, so we're going to be fine.
And everybody's got 3 irons going. This text says, why doesn't UNM, as well as the remaining Mountain West schools, just search for and get accepted into another conference or find schools to move into? Okay, a couple things. They search for another conference, they don't get all that money. If this conference dissolves, that, what's the word, war chest of money, all those exit fees that are coming in from these schools that leave, they don't have to pay it because there's no conference to pay it. So that's why Oregon State and Washington State kept the Pac-12 alive. Because if they would have dissolved that conference and they would have folded into the Mountain West, all the $250 million of exit fees that everybody else had to pay wouldn't have had to be paid. So that's why they're not just going and dissolving, right? That's the only thing that's holding this thing together right now is the lure of, hey, we're going to have $150 million to distribute. Stay with us because now you can do all these things. When else are you going to get this $150 million to spread around 8 teams or whoever's staying? And you said, or find schools to move in. I think they're certainly having that conversation, right?
And if I'm the Sun Belt Conference, USA American Athletic Conference, you have to look at where you currently sit in your media rights landscape and say, am I splitting this pie more? And then what concessions do you have to make joining in that league? Because it's not like SMU and stuff where you can join a power conference and take a half share and you have so many people backing you up.
You have so much
right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you this example. Everybody says it's easy if UTEP or New Mexico State want to get in. New Mexico State would have to increase their budget relatively substantially to get in, to compete in the Mountain West. Where's that money coming from? J-Rod says UNM needs to find a place and just steady the storm. Basketball will get their own choice of conferences soon, I believe. Just have to wait for that domino to fall. So do you believe basketball is going to be in a separate league? So you think the PAC will invite UNM basketball, but as basketball only? Is that kind of what he thinks? Because I don't think that's going to happen.
And one thing in this, and you're just throwing everything out there trying to figure out why. I look at Laramie, and you can take a step back and, all right, it's Laramie. It's a ridiculously small college town. There's not even a pretend anchor when it comes to television market there, but that's a team that's won and invested in football. They have redone that football stadium. And I look at San Jose State. Brent Brennan, his time was successful recently, just happened. They're investing in a football stadium.
State, yeah.
And
Where
they also got left out.
Yeah.
So was there a right answer for New Mexico?
Yeah, you asked me that question during the break, and I think it's really fair. If they'd have done everything right, if they'd have won, would they still be included in this? And I don't know. I mean, I'd like to. There's no guarantee. I can't sit here and say absolutely. I mean, would they, if they had the same football success as a Utah State did over the last decade, 2 decades, would New Mexico be included in the PAC? I can't sit here and give you a definitive answer. They'd certainly be more attractive. We're not arguing, are we? Over the last 2 decades, the teams in the Mountain West, New Mexico's had has been the worst. I mean, Nevada's had their run. They had a good run from 05 to 12, and then another one from 17 to 21 where they were in bowl games, right? Hawaii's had their run. They went to the Sugar Bowl. They were in the WAC, but they represented the group of 5. San Jose State's been to bowl games. I mean, New Mexico has been. I'm not looking to, beat a dead horse here. I mean, I'm just trying to put things into perspective, right? There's not a conversation, is there? John, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. How you doing?
Good. How you living?
Great, thanks. You know, there's something I don't think I've heard anybody say, and I don't know if many people know this, but so I know a lot of people who have gone to the University of Utah, and they talked about when they went into the Pac. And one of the things that was surprising and interesting to me was that, and them telling me about it, that the Pac-12, I guess at the time, had academic standards, and they also had investment standards.
Yep.
And one of the things that I've come to learn living in this state as long as I have is that the state doesn't really see UNM as an institution of higher learning because they let in masses and masses of people who have to take remedial English, remedial math, and the ACT scores or SAT scores that they're required in order to get in are so low. I don't think that they could clear the academic rigor hurdle that the conference has established for themselves.
John, I would have taken that argument up until this point. I think you were right for a long time when Stanford, Cal, UCLA, USC were in that league. They just accepted Boise State. I mean, with all due respect to Boise State and what they have become, that isn't Harvard.
Well, I think you got to ask yourself, really, what are their minimum standards, and have we looked at that to even know?
Yeah. From what I understand, UNM and what was there was I looked at this about a month ago. As far as research institutions, UNM ranks pretty high academically. Now, to your point,
that's true. But for the students that are coming in, they do not have the academic rigors that those other schools in the conference wanted.
That may be. Yeah, that may be. I haven't heard academics mentioned once in this. I used to hear it all the time. With the old Pac-12, I used to hear it all the time. But you might be right. I mean, it is a fair discussion.
And where I'm kind of going with this is that New Mexico always has this view, is it good enough? It's like if they want to build a new road, do we have to? If we're going to build a new road, you mean we might have to add more lanes? Yeah. I mean, it's always just up to the point, is it's just barely good enough. Yeah. And we don't have much aspirational discussions at the leadership levels, legislators, governors, mayors, and they don't put their money where their mouth is.
And here we are.
And they let kids graduate from high school who can't read, and then they want those same kids to be allowed to get into UNM.
Yeah, and here we are. Good call. Appreciate you, John. Thank you. We'll take more when we get back. 505-246-0610. I got a bunch of emails to read for you as well. If you're on the phone, stay there. I want to hear what you have to say. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Text line, I mean, everything's going crazy. 505-246-0610. Keep them coming. Let's go to the phones at 505-246-0610. Aaron, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Aaron.
Hey, real quick about the gentleman who called with the academic standards. I mean, he made a good point about the academic standards at UNM, but I think he doesn't realize that the remaining Pac-12 schools were Oregon State and Washington State. Yeah. And if you look at their standards for in-state admission, very, very similar to the University of New Mexico. As you correctly pointed out, Boise State is below the University of New Mexico.
Of course.
And just to remind that person, they want the University of Nevada, Las Vegas desperately. Do you think they want them for their academic standards at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas? Yeah. There's no medical school, no law school. It's the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So for that caller who thinks that academic standards has anything to do with this conversation, he's living on another planet.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks. I look, the Pac-12 in the past, when they've talked about expansion, that was one of the reasons San Diego State back in the day was theoretically kept out. Well, SC and UCLA didn't want them in. They were a state school. They weren't a UC school like Cal and UCLA, right? Now, I mean, look, Utah State, UNM is a good academic institution. I'm not telling you it's Harvard. It's a really, really good academic institution. Go look at all the rankings. The Pac-12 now is trying to stay alive. They don't give a damn about academics. In Boise State and Utah State, come on now. I mean, with all due respect, Fresno State's not a bad school, but again, it's not Stanford. So I think back in the day, that was the real conversation. I'm not certain I believe it is now in regards to the PAC. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning. Well, that is one of the most ridiculous lawsuits I think I've ever seen in my life.
All right, work with me as a lawyer on this. So duress. The previous attorney, Travis, said, yeah, they might have been under duress, but the Mountain West did not put them under duress. And is it a fair argument if I'm representing the Mountain West saying, look, duress, you did have options. New Mexico State is scheduled. You're scheduling independent next year. Connecticut, Notre Dame, and Massachusetts all schedule independent schedules every season. You did not have to enter into this alliance. You signed this free will with legal representation and advice.
There is no duress. And the next move is for the remaining Mountain West schools to countersue the PAC into oblivion. It's so obvious to anybody that what they did is took advantage of Gloria Narvaez and her fair play, and it should be fair play, and all schools should be above board and honest. And instead there was a lot of lying and chicanery, and this whole thing is to blow up the Mountain West so they don't have to pay the exit fees.
I think that's right.
Okay?
No, 100%.
To create a stampede to the Pac-12 that results in the demise of the Mountain West. And I got news for them. UNM's going to hire their own lawyer and on behalf of UNM sue the Pac-12 for mega damages. This is an Unfair Trade Practice Act violation. It's garden variety fraud, Jeff. This is fraudulent. You enter into a contract knowing that you have no intent to fulfill the contract. Now, let's talk a little bit about contract law. The judge is required to just read the four corners of that contract between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. And on the basis of that, there is no way they're getting out of those poaching fees. The poaching fees were exactly what Gloria Narvaez and her counsel came up with to prevent this very scenario that is occurring right now. So the poaching fees were not put in to punish the Pac-12. They were put in to protect the Mountain West, which they have every incentive to do. Now, what the lawsuit essentially says is, get me out of this bad agreement that I made because I don't know how to make an agreement, or I'm just a liar and I'm just lying to get what I want. Either way, it's a bad look for the Pac-12. And what does this say about the Pac-12 going forward, working with other conferences? If I'm a conference commissioner of the AAC, I wouldn't let any of my schools talk to the Pac-12, and I would up my fees, and what's coming is a grant of rights agreement so that people can't do this. That's the next thing that's going to happen. But the whole thing is disgusting. The other thing is people are meeting. People are meeting with the governor right now. There are a lot of people that do care about football, and nobody's given up on football. We have a great coach, and we're going to see this thing through.
All right. No, that helps, and I appreciate you, and thanks. He's going where I thought this was going. I mean, I just don't know where they stand legally, JJ. They had a plan, and he's right. Look, I'm just telling you, this lawsuit, what their intent is to destroy the Mountain West. Why do they want to destroy the Mountain West? Is it because they hate the schools there? I mean, there may be some of that. But, JJ, what'd you tell me before? It's business? If the Mountain West dissolves, they don't have to pay exit fees or poaching fees.
And you would definitely push for that, being the PAC and not having to use your war chest.
Well, yeah, you save $150 million. Now I got $150 million to disperse, and we're laughing at those guys. Look at poor Wyoming and New Mexico and whoever's left around. Not only do they not have a league, they don't have that money. You're damn right you're fighting like hell if you're on this side of it. If you're Gloria Narvaez, if you're UNM, if you're whomever's left. UNLV is going to make a call, I think, today. I do know that they're meeting today. This is a big swing. It's a tug of war over UNM. If they stay in the Mountain West, I think Air Force stays for a little bit. You're at 7. They're at 7. I don't know who they're going for. Then they're going to try to get Air Force to sway. I mean, whatever. But if UNLV is the tipping point right now, I think if UNLV goes, then Air Force may go. Now you're sitting there with 5 left. And what are you going to do? Then it's New Mexico State, UTEP, and Montana or something. You know, I don't know what you're going to do at that point. Look, there's a lot of talk Texas State may go to the Pac. I read a lot of that yesterday, that they're looking to go into the Sun Belt and get Texas State, which is just outside of Austin and San Marcos, which is a big public institution. It gets them into Texas. They got a bright, brilliant young coach. It's an up-and-coming school. It used to be Southwest Texas State. Right? But I think the UNLV domino today is big.
It's telling me that state has to be a part of your name to join that new conference.
Feels that way, doesn't it? Yeah, if you're Nevada, New Mexico, well, unless they get UNLV.
Is UNLV meeting to add state?
Yeah, so they'll be Las Vegas State.
Yes.
Or are they just going to change to Nevada State? Like Texas State did, like somebody else did that. And there was another one that just whatever. Didn't Louisiana drop like Louisiana Lafayette and they became Louisiana? Yeah, I think that's the one it was. This is interesting stuff. Jim says, here's a question. Where are the UNM legislators? This is an economic development / state pride issue. Crickets. But seriously, have we heard from any state officials, legislators, those that represent UNM? The goal of this lawsuit, by the way, he says, is to slow the payment process and bleed the Mountain West, the classic play. Slow it down, hope the Mountain West dissolves. Bigger companies do this to smaller companies all the time. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, right? That's what I just said. There's a strategy there now. They think that they've got the upper hand, the PAC does, and they don't want to pay you, and they want to destroy you at this point. Because if they destroy you, then they don't have to pay you. 505-246-0610. Gopher says, you asked the softball question of the week, Jeffy. Let me hit it out of the gym for you. You asked where the vitriol is coming from. That's society today. Look at politics. It's not enough to beat your opponent. You want to humiliate them. And even if you lose, you still try to destroy your opponent by whatever means possible. I don't know. I think it's financially motivated now. If you destroy your opponent, in this case, the Mountain West the PAC destroying the Mountain West, you don't have to pay them. We're talking in the area of $120 to $150 million, right? I mean, that's significant guilt. Sid says, why do fan bases hate Lobo athletics, Mr. Symbieta? I think you know the answer. It's the dump and Lobo basketball, which has never accomplished anything despite the attitude of arrogant Lobo fans. He says I think that's what he calls the pit. Lobo Hobo says, to me, there is one path ahead, Jeffy. Instead of trying to shove a new soccer stadium, which no one wants, down everyone's throat, you sell University Stadium to Trevisani and build Lobo football, a new state-of-the-art facility nearby. Look, throw all the ideas you want. I'm good. Ken says, I couldn't disagree with Rudy more, Jeff. I think the PAC was under duress. You can't put together a schedule that quickly. Need to remind you a recent OD program where the topic was NMSU scheduling Tulsa in 2034. 2034. You need that much lead time, even though Tony and Mario will both be long gone. Look, man, you're putting games together. I think COVID proved that. And by the way, how'd they put schedules together for next year so quickly? They literally just, 3-4 weeks ago? Ken? 3-4 weeks ago is when that whole scheduling agreement for next year did not get renewed. Want to bet they have football schedules for next year? Somehow it got done, right? So it probably can be done. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Score number. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
We would like to thank the following sponsors.
Stuff's still coming in, 505-246-0610. Text line says, it appears UNM's fans are upset that its teams, as well as the remaining Mountain West schools, are missing out on the new Pac-12. If it's best Mountain West schools not move, then why doesn't the Mountain West group of schools just wait and rebuild? The Big 12 did that after Texas and Oklahoma agreed to leave for the SEC. Mountain West should just wait. A couple things. Because everybody's coming at them. They're all looking for a better place, right? That was the plan on Monday to this texter. And so Monday afternoon, right, the plan was, okay, we're going to wait and rebuild. And they all signed this MOU, this Memorandum of Understanding. And there were 8 schools, and they were going to wait and rebuild. And then Utah State left for the Pac. And then all of a sudden, you have to have 8 football playing schools. And now UNLV's like, well, now that I don't know. And they're being recruited and tried to be poached by the Pac. So that's why. Look, if they had a good solid base that everybody was really committed, you can trust the guy sitting next to you, you might be able to have that conversation. All right. Harry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Harry.
Hey, how's it going, Jeff?
Good.
I just like to say, I kind of wondered if it would help if you were to get an AD that is football orientated, maybe an old football coach, retired football coach, somebody that knows and that can help us get out of this prognosis that we're in, whether it be with the Pac or maybe moving up further, because I know that Bronco is going to take us somewhere different, and Coach Pitino's already taken us somewhere different. We have the coaches. I don't know if they can be patient and stuff, but I think with what's turning around, I went to the football game, bought 4 tickets, took some people down there that wouldn't normally go this last game, enjoyed the heck out of it. I mean, I see things turning around. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Harry. I got a text on the emailer who said, sell Trevisani the stadium. This one says, tell the idiot that the owners are paying for that stadium, and that's why they will pack it. His thinking is why New Mexico is where it is as a state right now. Look, do you need a lot to be done with that facility? Yeah. United have their stadium. They're going to go get their stadium. They're paying for it. They're getting are they paying for it all? They're getting the land. The state's going to give them a bunch of money, and that's good. But boy, all right. This says lemonade. It's from David. I guess no lemonade out of these lemons. This is depressing radio. Can't we find something positive? I'll start. What can be unburdened by what has been? It's obvious now we were viewed as the ugliest girl by the other ugly girls we hung out with. And we were afraid to let them go because nobody else will want us, typical New Mexico. Instead, let's take the penalty fees and be proactive by giving significant raises to Bronco and Pitino so they can continue to lead our programs while we find a landing spot. Continue to support NIL. Get aggressive with our legislatures when it comes to funding our university's athletic department. And most important is fans support the program with attendance. A good investor finds companies with potential that everyone else overlooked. We have more capital potential and capital than most, if not all, the new Mountain West / Pac-2 teams. Let's learn from this lesson, take off our old dirty clothes, put on a new dress, over the next few years and make the case to hang out with the pretty girls. Thank you, Mr. Glass Half Full. It's actually really good. Right? So he's saying invest. Boy, I couldn't disagree with Rudy Seymour, says Ken. Actually, they don't have schedules next year. Wazoo has 6 contests and a bunch of TBAs, and 2 of those are their previously scheduled 1AA game and Apple Cup. But they will. I mean, Ken, I promise you, they will have I'm promising you that Oregon State and Washington State are going to have a football schedule next year. You think they won't?
No, not after all this.
They're going to have a football schedule. All right, John is the gentleman who says that he and I disagree, and he's the one who, on the Facebook, no matter what New Mexico Bull Jeff said, he's the one who says just play football and do it on the low budget side. Jeff, you're kidding yourself if you think that Bronco won't be on the first train out of town the second his program has any type of success and a big boy comes calling. Hell, Rocky did it, and he was a New Mexico alum. My point is, instead of paying a coach $1 million and letting him leave, pay an up-and-comer half of that and have the same thing happen when he gets better. Become a school where kids who need some development can go and move on. We are never going to be consistently good in football, see the past 40-plus years. You can wish for it and hope for it all you want. It's never going to happen. People going back to Rocky, go back even further, Mike Shepard, and even more, it's not going to happen. Throwing money at it is not going to change anything. Did I ever say Bronco wasn't going to leave if he got paid?
How do you feel about Richard Pitino leaving? He's not staying here forever.
Yeah,
no one is.
Yeah. So what he's saying is just pay low end. If you don't, this is where I get caught on John's thought, and I'm not mad at him. I mean, I appreciate where he's coming from. I disagree with his line of thinking. But how is this coach going to have success with no resources? When you find an up-and-comer, why would the up-and-comer come here knowing that, A, there's no resources, that you're investing the least amount of any of your peers? Basically, that's what you would be doing with that, right?
Yeah,
and how's he going to have success in the league?
There's not success, and his point would be it doesn't matter. There's not an up-and-comer. It would just be get someone to coach.
Someone who wants to check.
His Uncle Rico from
South
Trinity Valley,
Lordsburg,
Mississippi State, would coach it.
Yeah.
It's not a model that works. And you're saying, and I get it, well, this model isn't working yet, but that model had you with the ability at an FBS level to then continue to do what you needed to do basketball-wise.
Yeah,
and that's going to take a big hit, and it is going to be a hole to climb out of. That as much as everyone says they love basketball and they'll do anything to save that basketball program, are they willing to go through that period of time where it will dip?
Yeah. This is, it's always been that way, so it's always going to be that way. And my response is, well, you've always treated football that way, right? And he would say, no, we're paying a guy $1 million. Well, okay, just because you're paying the coach $1 million, are the rest of the resources there? John, I understand where you're coming from. I see most of your point. I disagree with you, but respectfully. But I just don't see the benefit of just saying, yeah, let's just have a losing program, not invest. In football, which stirs the drink and brings in the largest chunk of revenue, and which absolutely, inarguably dictates conference alignment. And again, if you're not dropping foot, like you're not. And so his point is, okay, then just do it. But we're never going to be good at it. We've never been good at it. So let's just understand we're not good at it and find somebody who wants to come in and not be good. All right. Here's who's really good. International Protective Service, IPS. They protect my home. They protect businesses, homes all over Albuquerque and Santa Fe. They keep the bad guys away. They catch them when they're breaking into your place. You've worked too damn hard to build what you've built. Your family's important. Protect it. Protect them. International Protective Service offers you a lot of opportunities and a lot of services. They'll install alarms and cameras. They'll offer you standing guards 24 hours if that's what you need. I trust them. My neighbors trust them. They give us peace of mind. They respond within 7 minutes or less when alarms go off that they monitor. They catch bad guys in the act. So who's watching your home? You're not there all the time. Who's watching your home? Make it the good guys, not the bad guys. Call IPS. 505-897-2420 is their number. Area code 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com, passionate about making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
This report is...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
524-60610. I want to go back to that Johnny mail. Like, you're kidding. He says, Jeff, you're kidding yourself. You think that Bronco won't be the first on the first train out of town the second his program has any type of success and the big boy comes calling. Hell, Rocky did it. Do you think Patino's any different? Do you think any like it happened with your golf coach and your cross country coach and it happened with Alford and no, I understand that. Did I ever say anything different about that?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I'm not sure where I'm kidding myself. Yeah, Bronco has success and there's an opportunity for him to go and kind of like your athletic director. Yeah, and it happens everywhere. No, man, I never said that at all. I got this one again. Might as well explore the option of becoming an FCS school. As far as football is concerned, fans want a winning team regardless of the division. Just drop down to FCS, win a few games over some years, and slowly build back to FBS. It's from Mike. Yeah, because it's that easy. I mean, once you drop down, geez, you'll be guaranteed you win.
There's a reason that still teams want it to be FBS football teams. And even struggling FBS teams don't just say, hey, let's drop down.
There's also the faction of people who believe, and I'm not sure I think this would be horrible because this would go under football kind of governing its own self, that the PAC is going to reach out to New Mexico and want basketball only. Right? That somehow that's going to save you're going to get into the Pac-12 in basketball. That they're going to say, hey, come over and just play basketball. We don't want your crummy football team or any of your other stuff. And by the way, baseball would really help that league because they don't have a lot of baseball programs. But yeah, we like the Pit. It's good TV. Okay. Because I'd love to know where the viewership is. I've seen the football numbers on viewership. Wouldn't you love to see where the basketball numbers are? Like how many people tune into those late night games? And I think a lot of the numbers, when you look at this, the Mountain West is so skewed. You're 84th and 102nd. Well, yeah, when your games are on at 10:30 at night on the East Coast, yeah, you're right. Less people are watching them than are watching Coastal Carolina, who plays at noon. Yeah, I mean, inherently, wouldn't that make sense? All right. You want to turn the page? You want to talk about something else?
We'll see if the people want to talk about something else.
Well, if you do, I mean, we're here for you. I got a bunch more from, well, evidently you want to stay on this, so we'll do that for a little while. 505-246-0610. I got some NFL stuff for you, I do. Baseball was good. President's Cup is starting. UNLV's quarterback didn't get his NIL money. He's at bouncing. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The sports animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet.
Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry.
8 years running.
It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Bach.
All right, you said them, and I'll read them. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. A lot of talk about This lawsuit, the PAC suing the Mountain West. And where do you go from here? It's the opening drive at 505-246-0610. The Mountain West mantra, it says on the text line, should be wait and get to a mere 8. Okay. It says, again and again, many go on and on regarding the solution to UNM's athletic problems. Invest in UNM more money for operating budget and facilities improvement, as doing that and only that will fix all. NMSU's example disproves that reasoning. Rather, UNM and Mountain West schools should wait, seek replacements, and get to a mere 8. Okay.
And MSU proves nothing. By the way, they hit it with what the Lobos were hoping to, with Jerry Kill, a good staff for 2 years, and some really good recruits during that span. And guess what was happening? Nothing. They had to wait on air conditioning. They had issues at their stadium. Jerry Kill wasn't sticking around, and he bounced. Took those players to Vanderbilt where they're being successful. So, yeah, you can catch lightning in a bottle with the coach and players, but if you're talking about sustaining something or trying to be relevant, New Mexico State doesn't prove anything.
By the way, what happened to their beloved basketball program? Where are they now? They're in a one-bid league. They shut down their, I hate the word
Mexico
irrelevant.
State's trying to do the same thing, which is get support, invest in their facilities, not play this game that so many people want to play. Mexico State proves nothing. Proves everyone can catch lightning in a bottle, but once you have that, what do you do with it? How do you get investment?
How do you sustain it?
And maybe that will, for a lot of people, is, you know what? It is what it is. And don't do anything.
Oh, I think
the status quo.
Yeah. Well, look, everybody's. If you love the basketball program, and so many people do, you're going to do anything, as you said this earlier, to protect that basketball program, and I don't blame you. I
But
understand.
have they? Have they?
Have they what?
It's sport. As much as you love something, if you're not getting anything in return,
Mm-hmm.
you're always going to have your base. But when Steve Alford left, when Richard Pitino was hired, you had your base, but you weren't selling out the arena.
No, you weren't. But there were
You had
still people
done
who
with that
loved it and were
program.
passionate about it, but were
Everywhere
pissed off
has
and
that.
stopped going. Not to the extent that I would argue that it's passion for
You're
basketball.
getting, as much as you want to joke, you're still getting as many people to show up to those football games as you did to basketball.
No, that's right. You're not wrong. And there are people who care about football and want football to be good as well. And then there's I don't even know what percentage I would put on it, that understands how the two are intertwined, and you need, the old rising tide raises all ships thing. Why can't you be good at both? Well, you can. San Diego State was consistent in football, and it helped build their basketball program. Now, Steve Fisher did too. Right, but look at Boise State. They've become pretty good at both, right?
They were a junior college 24 years ago.
Colorado State's been relatively consistent at both.
Colorado State's been terrible at football the last 5 years.
The last 5
one
years, yeah.
thing that they've had is a gigantic investment
In their stadium. Yeah.
And that football stadium is
And it's-
help push them into this conference. And the thing is, with the avenues that you have, being a Division I institution that's playing FBS football, you should invest in it. And if you can ask for more, you should. For your student athletes, for your alumni, for the city that you are in, because this is a state that Division I athletics has a unique platform.
Travis says, for the Pac-12 to be awarded recession, a remedy allowing a party to cancel a contract, Pac-12 must show that because the Mountain West Conference's wrongful conduct, the Pac-12 lacked free will to contract. The wrongful conduct by the Mountain West is the most important element here. Where's the MWC's wrongful conduct? They acted as the savior for the decimated Pac-12. It's from Travis. This one's from, I don't even know who it's from. It's from GB. somebody I don't normally get an email from, and it didn't sign a name. It says, Jeff, this is just another example of self-serving stupidity in college sports. These conference realignments do not grow the sport nor make it better for the student athletes. They stroke the egos of rich donors, ADs, and board members. No network's beaten down the door to offer the Mountain West 2.0, i.e. the Pac whatever, that much more money than the Mountain West 1.0. They're not a Power 4. The simple, smart, and cheap move would have been to merge with the Mountain West and keep that war chest themselves and build a brand worth poaching. College sports does not have anyone looking out for the sport as a whole. These self-serving, idiotic conferences are destroying college athletics and will continue to do so for the next 100 years unless they realize this poaching, excluding, and lack of teaming ultimately destroys the entire sport. The NFL and NBA understand this. When will professional college sports? End quote. That's really good. Look, I hate what it's done to it. Now, there's plenty of people at the top who are saying this is awesome. We get USC, Michigan this week, and then we get Oklahoma, Tennessee, and we get UCLA, Indiana, or LSU, right? Look what we're getting every week. And maybe you're feeding the top. I've said this to so many people who don't want to listen to it. JJ, the majority of the world didn't go to Alabama or Michigan or USC or Ohio State. The majority of the world went to places that aren't Power 5 college and still want to see their alma mater, their schools, the place that they have a passion for, do well. And that's where some of this anger comes in. And then when you get left out, look, man, this was dirty. Well, Jeff, it's just business. Is it? That's a really good email. Because I know San Diego State and Colorado State, and they want to get rid of the Wyomings and New Mexicos, as they keep saying. But he's right. If you would have had a 14-team league with that war chest, you'd have been able to distribute to the top, have the earners make more, and build a pretty damn good league. But they had to make their fan bases feel better that they don't have to go to Albuquerque and Laramie. And now you're sitting where you are. All right. Bourne says, will you and Danny Nee have the call on Aggie Vision this weekend? Jeff, I'd like to talk about the actual game sometime this week. All right. No, because it's on Aggie Vision. It'll be Adam Young and Danny Nee, I believe. Hondo says, was talking to Lobo fans Monday, Jeffrey, and they said they hope Lobo Athletics is a soft landing spot ready in the Big Sky or Missouri Valley just in case of catastrophe. Do those leagues really want New Mexico? I don't know. I just hope someone's working their ass off at UNM to find whatever the best possible landing spot is, JJ. And we've heard nothing out of the university. Nothing from the president's office, nothing from the interim AD's office, right?
At this point, just to satisfy the hungry fans, you've even put out a statement of we
are monitoring the situation.
Not even they've done that.
Yeah,
you don't need that.
Thank you.
You need why should people care about athletics? Why your school and university should matter? Why your fan base matters? Just something like that, as opposed to we're monitoring the situation. Like it's all you can do right now is play the PR game, and you've taken massive hits, and you have a lot of frustrated fans. And there's been a lot of good points. And going back to the email I was talking about, take a step back, wait your time. I think the worry is that if they dissolve, that's why you can't wait your time.
Well, if you dissolve, there's nothing there for you, right?
So, but how did Oregon State and Washington State do it with two?
Well, they had all that money, so the two of them stayed together and tied together, right? They trusted each other. They had a plan, and they used that money to lure those other four into something that they perceived.
But how did the
better.
Pac-12 not dissolve? Like we're having this conversation
because they stayed together.
So all it would take was,
I don't know if
San Jose State, New Mexico,
the bylaws. I think you need 4. I think it was 4. Because what was it? 9 of the 12 decided to leave, then it all dissolved, right? So I think you need 4.
I was just looking at how did they do it.
Yeah.
Like there was 2.
Matt says, after listening to Lobo talk last night, I really think Bronco is the right guy and the right time for this program. His temperament is very unique. His answers to Robert's question about realignment seem very thoughtful and sincere. He didn't sugarcoat it. He said something to the effect of, the new pack is a great makeup of teams. It should be special. It would be special to be part of it. But he went beyond that and talked about our prior struggles, our lagging viewership because of those struggles, and then said that it's his job to get us past those struggles to a point where we are desirable for the next round of chaos. Something that he's extremely confident is coming. And I tend to agree. I know some will say, well, what else is he supposed to say? But there's something unique about his delivery. This is a challenge for sure, and he seems to really embrace and thrive in trying to overcome challenges. As far as my own stages of grief regarding realignment, I think that sometimes difficult things happen for a good reason and ultimately lead to a better outcome. My hope is that this is a cruise missile across the bow for all the stakeholders involved in making financial decisions for our states and universities. The time is literally today. We're clearly too late, it would seem, for this round of change. But, like Bronco said, and we all know this is not the end. So maybe there's enough discussed with this situation to mobilize and make the changes now. And maybe staying put means we get to build, grow, and establish our football program against more manageable opponents. Getting thrown into the pack, poorly funded and unprepared, to get smacked around by the top half of our league, plus Oregon State and Washington State, might not be the right formula for building a proud program. Thanks. It's from Matt. It's an interesting perspective. I mean, it's the bright side of this. It's the silver lining. It's the half full thing. Okay, what's next? Where are we going to go? How are we going to grow? All right. As long as someone's leading this charge of finding a plan, and you guys, and I say you guys, whoever's leading the ship over there, and it's David and President Stokes right now. As long as there's a plan and there's leadership and they're doing something. And like I said, just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not happening or it's not good. I'm trusting, I'm hoping that what's going on over there behind closed doors leads to the best possible solution for this program. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Join 95.9 FM and AM 610.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
All right, 505-246-0610. You've been really active today. This is text line. Irony would be New Mexico and UTEP keeping UNM out of Conference USA while taking the jilted members of the Mountain West Conference. What he's saying is, yeah, we'll take Conference USA. We'll take Nevada and Hawaii and Wyoming, but we're not taking UNM. We can't see that happening, but hell, man. I mean, literally, I mean, you can see anything happening, right? Did JJ just describe the UNM basketball coaching lineage going directly from Alfred to, this says Paterno? No, he did not. And doing so stress its attendance success? Weren't there Neal and Weir in there during poor attendance and yet a continued existence?
Dude, you can stop reading. That's not what I said.
Yeah, that's not what he said at all.
It's okay if you missed it, but don't try to act like.
Yeah. No.
I didn't forget that 10-year period.
Yeah.
I was emphasizing a point of actually discussing that 10-year period of trying to just think because there's great fan support that's going to get it through anything.
Right. No, that's not. Yeah. Yeah. God bless it. All right. You want to go somewhere else? UNLV's quarterback. The NIL thing is really, really interesting at UNLV. Matthew Sulka is their quarterback. UNLV is on track, or at least was, to be in the conversation for the Group of Five representative in the playoff. Now, look, they got a huge game this weekend. Fresno State's coming in. The winner is going to get a big jump in the Mountain West Conference. But Sulka is not playing anymore. In fact, he says, I'm done. I'm not playing. I'm not hurt. But basically, without detailing the reasons why he left, this is an NIL thing. And with college athletes routinely being paid by the collectives, which is a third party, he's claiming that he was promised stuff that he is now not getting. And with redshirt rules allowing a player, if he plays less than 4 games, he can redshirt. He says, I'm done. I've only played 3 and I'm going to redshirt. This is a dude who's thrown for 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's a senior. He's a transfer. He's going to redshirt. He spent his first 4 years at Holy Cross where he was really, really good. And he was big in their upset win at Kansas. So they're going to turn to, whether it's Haji Malik Williams or Cameron Friel, But, JJ, this is a big deal, and I think this is a bigger story. Right? We've always wondered how the collectives are going to work with the institution. How, and theoretically they work separately, but there's no way you can recruit a player without telling him what he's going to get.
It can't be separate moving forward. If they want this model to succeed, and with everything that's going on, revenue sharing potentially in the future, all this stuff, like collectives have to be like your collective club, but it has to be an entity within the athletics department, a part of that structure, because you have, Salco's father speaking out this morning and his representative saying, yeah, we were promised an NIL deal that was never paid. We didn't go back and ask for money. They just never got anything on the NIL deal.
This would be, let me just draw you a parallel. Let's say UNM was 3-0. This would be your quarterback, Devin Dampier, saying, yeah, I'm done. I was promised NIL money and I'm not getting it. And I'm done. I'm leaving. And I don't know how the conversation goes between your head football coach, Bronco Mendenhall, and Kurt Roth, who's running the collective. But this is right. This is Barry Odom now got to be having a conversation with whoever's running their collective going, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, and that's why it has to be hand in hand. And I think with what we've seen in college athletics, the changes, you have to make this work. Like in college athletes, everyone sits back and says, well, everyone can do this or that. If you want to have a pro sports model, there's contracts, there's buyouts, there's things you have to live up to. And for UNLV, I'm sure they would like to have more control of the situation than they do, as you just said, to have a collective that you're hoping does stuff, that's trying to help you, but then just comes up empty like this. It's disastrous.
Yeah, it's a real problem. All right, 505-246-0610. Dan, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Dan.
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Good. What's happening?
I don't know what your thoughts are on the possible alignment of the Mountain West with Boise State, Utah State leaving and joining the Pac-12, and will the Lobos, the football team, ever be where they at least win a game?
Yes, they'll win a game. Where'd he go?
At least have a season above 500 in my lifetime.
Yeah. No, Dan, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, did he ask, will they ever win a game or will they have a season above 500 in his lifetime? The dog and the phone dropping caught me. Yeah, they'll have a 500 season in your life. I mean, I'd like to believe you're going to live for a few years. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm going to go back to the core of his. He realizes it's about football. Disconnected as that call was. I think it's another guy who realizes it's about football, right? JJ, it's not that simple. If it was that simple, they'd do it. Well, Jeff, it's simple. Look, Coastal Carolina does it. How does James Madison do it? Which, by the way, is a really fair question. How the hell does James Madison do it? I mean, I'm going to guess they commit to football, but what do you think? And I don't know the answer, but I'll find it for you. What do you think James Madison in the Sun Belt, what do you think their budget is for football? This is crazy to me.
Like, it's just all, how do you do it? It's clicking. It's getting a staff that was able to bring in players, execute at a really high level, find some consistency. And by the way, their head coach took the job at Indiana. All right. Still went out there and scored 70 points in North Carolina.
So UNM's athletic department budget, I've heard anywhere between 30, I think it's close to $48 million. Okay, $48 million. Their whole athletic, that's softball, volleyball, golf, football, everything. What do you think James Madison's athletic department budget is? I mean, guess.
$23 million.
What if I told you $68 million?
Holy schmoly.
James Madison, according to this, and this is two different spots that are showing me this. Now, this isn't going to be a popular model, and I don't know that it would work here. But in the fiscal year 2023, James Madison's athletic department spent $68 million on athletics. Jeff, where the hell did it come from? Is it alumni? Is it state money? It's not TV.
It's Stigatron, right?
Scott Stigler gave him $53.3 million. Well, no wonder he's in here before we come in and here. I mean, it's selling.
That's why I work so hard.
No, the answer, and it wouldn't work here. $53.3 million comes from mandatory student fees. That's the largest amount of any public school in the country. The mandatory student fee for 2024, there's no way. It's $5,662. So on top of your tuition, you're putting in $5,600 for student fees. $2,362 of that is earmarked for athletics. I mean, there's just no way that would work here, right? But it's their student fees. So that's how they did it. But you know what? They win. Undergraduate tuition at James Madison is almost $31,000 a year for out-of-state students, $13,500 for in-state students. The mandatory student fee, $5,662. Covers transportation services, student health initiatives, facility maintenance, and $2,362 goes to athletics. Wow. Okay. That's how they did it. That's how they did it. All Scott Stigler money.
Yeah, the man just walked in.
Yeah.
Heard like the bat signal of JMU. And
yeah. Well, but you wonder, because people have asked me, how the hell are they so damn good? Well, their budget is $20 million in athletics more than your budget is. We'll talk to them about it. I mean, we're overdue for a break, so why don't you tell me how to make some money, and then we'll figure out how the hell they're spending all that money on athletics.
Well, it is Waiver Wire Wednesday, and maybe your fantasy season isn't off to a hot start, but with daily fantasy, you can be hot every single day, and Underdog Fantasy will help you. Underdog Fantasy is the best way to get in the game. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. I love looking at the stat projections all week long for multiple sports, and, of course, for the football kickoff Thursday night, Cowboys and Giants. So many good plays. You go higher or lower on your favorite players' stats, and that's how you start your pick'em entry. Your pick'em entry is 2 players from 2 different teams, and then you build from there. Don't forget, use the promo code JJBuck. So just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code JJBuck, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. It's straightforward, and signing up is even easier. You can win up to 1,000 times your money by looking at those stat projections and going higher or lower. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JJBuck to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. And Underdog Fantasy has so many more things from you. Vulture protection, gimme picks, injury protection. Underdog Fantasy is the place to play daily fantasy sports. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, I was. Are you the most famous alumni from James Madison? Scott Stigler.
No, wait. In this studio? Yes.
In the world.
No. Charles Haley was at James Madison.
I heard of him. All right, yeah. Who else?
You remember Gary Clark, played for the Washington Redskins?
No.
Do you remember James Madison, the father of the Constitution? No, actually, he probably didn't go to the school.
I've heard of his name. Who is he again? It's like, who's Juan Tabo? You know? Back when Addie was young, I looked up, like, we're on Juan Tabo every damn day. Who the hell is Juan Tabo?
And there's actually a controversy about that.
I know. Yeah. I learned that as we did that. It's like, who is, well, you go down the street with somebody's name on it. Like, who is General whatever?
General Stilwell.
Yeah. Right. All right, so we were having this conversation on budgets, and your alma mater has
and I did graduate.
It has the most famous alumni ever. How we got here was, how is James Madison good at football? What do you think their budget is? And JJ said he thought, what did you say, $26 million?
Well, I was just...
Yeah, guessing.
I was guessing and figuring out where they were. And
for perspective, if New Mexico's athletic department budget is somewhere in the area of $48 million, and theirs is $68 million for their athletic department, you're like, whoa, okay. So spending money, and more so spending money wisely, equated to a program that just put up 70 at North Carolina and has them in conversations. They're getting them from these record fees. It would never work here, Scott.
No.
$53.5 million.
No.
They have the highest student fees of any public school in America.
Highest student fees in the country. Yeah. And I didn't get to check this. I tried, but...
Welcome to the Sports Animal Studio.
Yeah, I tried. But they're passing, it's either passing legislation or there's some kind of NCAA. I don't know where it's coming from, but what I'm telling you is that they're going to cut back on the amount you can get from student fees. And I don't know whether that's just a Virginia thing or what it is, but I think that well is going to dry up here very, very
well. Quickly. Are they going to cut them or are they going to cap them? I think there's a big difference.
I think they're going to cut them and cap them.
Okay. JJ, in 2010, this is a long time ago, they were spending $11 million. This is before they were FBS. They were spending $11 million on football.
Well, they've only been SBS. This is their third year.
But this was before when they were still FCS. In 2022, they spent $11 million on football.
All right.
That was on par with the group of five. Before that, they were spending $10 million on football. So that's how they grew it. And it's not just, like, there's a difference, and I'm going to get the email, don't just throw money at it. No, I'm not telling you just throw money at it. They spent wisely, and they hit.
Well, remember Boise State's growth as a football program.
From a junior college?
They started from junior college. But here's the difference, Jeff, and this is what's going to be very hard for New Mexico to overcome. Boise State won at the junior college level. Yeah. They got to a point where they said, okay, we're traditional winners at that level. We moved up to I don't know whether at the time it was 1AA or whatever it is, and they kept winning. So they had a winning culture along the way. So as they built, they just brought that winning culture with them.
And that was James Madison and Boise State.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think Coastal was somewhat the same way, right?
Mm-hmm. You've got several programs like that now. Whether like there's a
Sam Houston,
but everybody at North Dakota State, or not everybody at North Dakota State, but I mean people at North Dakota State. Some people at North Dakota State say they want to move up.
Some do and some don't.
And they've won.
Yeah.
They are the kings of FCS.
Yeah. Do they want to continue to invest?
But my point is that if North Dakota State moved up to FBS, they would have a winning culture, and it would be easier for them to build a winner at North Dakota State than it would be for a New Mexico who's been FBS for 45 years to build a new winning culture.
Explain why that would be. So would it be just an investment from their stakeholders, from their state? Yeah, we've won forever. That's what the emailer's telling me. Look, Jeff, you've lost for 40 years. It's always going to be that way. Basically, we've always been this. We're always going to be this. Okay. What you're saying is North Dakota State, or James Madison for that matter, we've always been this, so damn it, we're always going to be this. Why were they able to carry it up?
I think that there's a lot of factors involved. I think, the condition of your state. New Mexico is not a rich state.
We're the richest poor state in America. We woe is me. We got zillions of dollars in reserve.
Yeah, but
we have money to spend.
Well, okay, but do you want to use that money for?
We can use it for a lot of things. So we can go next door and talk on 770.
Sure.
We can talk. We can do education and crime and sprinkle a little athletics. We can.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't know, and this is the other part of your argument is there the will?
Okay, that's therein lies the issue, and I'm fine with that because I think your point is, I think they have the will. James Madison's stakeholders, whether it was the state, alumni, whatever, have the will. Mm-hmm. Sam Houston State's got the will. North Dakota State would have the will because they had this culture. There's this pride. If we were, let's just say, New Mexico, there was a level to move up in basketball, and there is, right? If there was a way that they could buy their way into the Big 12, let's just say, there would be the will for that. It would be the same concept.
I think most fans would say,
would
yes,
I'm
interested.
Would the state back it?
Well, this would be a really interesting discussion. I know that the fans would be for it. The question is, are the fans willing to pay for it? Because you don't move to the Big 12 and buy your way into the Big 12 in basketball, and then say I can't pay $10 for parking. That's right. So your fans have to have the buy-in too. And I'm not telling people how to spend their money.
What do you think?
I think it's a good question because you have to have investment from both ends. You do have to have your athletic department doing whatever they can with the avenues that are there to get money from state, etc. And then what is your fan base willing to do? Because we say
everybody talks,
there's
man.
always a hardcore fan base for everything.
Yeah.
But still, even that, you want a return. And you're not going to invest in something that's never giving you anything back.
Yeah, and everybody talks, right? And when it comes down to it, look, we've been talking about this day. I say this day. The potential of this split in the conference, the Mountain West Conference, for how long? Now it's here. What are you going to do about it? To sit here and say, I've so many times people have said, how was President Stokes and the athletic department blindsided? They weren't blindsided, man. They may have been blindsided the day it happened. Like that night when Dave got that call from Gloria Navarez that said, hey, this is... But if you didn't see it coming, like how many months, if not year, did we talk about this possibility? You could read it with Braille.
But Jeff, I think the thing that you got to work on now is being ready for the next one.
Yes.
Because this one's over.
Look, but you need to create the next one.
Yeah.
You can't be ready for it. You can't, well, what's going to fall in our lap? Like, for crying out loud, man. And that's where I'll give Gloria a little credit. They were there on Monday. It sounds like they all agreed and they all signed an MOU, the 8 of them, to stay together and build, take that war chest of money until Utah State got the call. pulled the chute. They have an athletic director who's unpopular up there. She's embroiled with in a lawsuit because of the Blake Anderson, their football coach situation, and she needed to do something to make her fan base happy, and so they left, and now UNLV's sitting on the fence, and I really believe we're going to hear something on the UNLV thing today. But yes, you got to be proactive, and that's why I'm struggling with this whole thing. How did UNM not have a plan?
But can I tell you something, Jeff? Yeah. If UNM got a call,
they'd go too.
That memorandum of understanding is out the window, and we're jumping to.
No, I'm not arguing with that.
Right. No,
I agree with you 1,000%.
Yep.
And I'm not even sure if it's the right thing at this point, because they'd be taking a lesser share and probably have to pay their own exit fee. And I'm not arguing with that. That my whole thing is, okay, who's leading what's happening, because you got to be proactive. And you and I been here long enough. I mean, it's such a bummer. Because I think we've both seen the potential of this place. All right, your Orioles are in the playoffs, by the way. They celebrated. They had champagne last night.
Yeah. They got 5 days to kind of figure out whether they're going to build some momentum or they're just going to limp in like they have since the All-Star break.
Yeah, they're going to limp in.
Yeah.
All right, he is the most famous, highest profile James Madison Duke alumni.
Anybody remember Lindsay Zarniak on ESPN?
Yeah,
she's a JMU gal.
You're bigger than her.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Lindsay Zarniak?
No.
Yeah, you're bigger than her. Who else? I mean, Charles Haley, all right, he's a big dude. I mean, do you know a bigger James Madison alum than him?
No.
He lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey.
He doesn't
on the Albuquerque, New Mexico bashing.
No.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He is the American.
Anytime you talk about my program, I just got to make sure that everybody understands we built that program on the backs of the student fees.
Yeah, that's right, but you built it, and you spent the money wisely. Again, you could have taken all that money, and I mean, they did something with it. JJ, this is one of the biggest reasons that schools sponsor athletics. How many people would know there is a James Madison University if it wasn't for the success of their football team?
Well, I would.
I know you would, because you went there. How many people would know what a Gonzaga is? Or Butler?
Or New Mexico?
That's why you do it, and that's why you want to be good at it. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Performance, it's life of fantasy football.
Bad breaks. Rod said James Madison, the Fighting Stigaroos. Jefferson, did you see that Mac Brown almost resigned after UNC's meltdown? Yeah, the coach of the Tar Heels, and he apologized on Monday, said he should never put it on his players. But after the game where they lost 70-50, say that again, an ACC team at home, North Carolina.
We're talking football.
We're talking, again, really good designation because it was probably necessary. Lost 70-50 to James Madison. And after the game, Mac Brown went in and he asked his team, if you guys don't believe me or don't want me here, I'll quit. And they're like, what? No, and they supported him. And after the game, on Monday, he came back and said, I should never have done that. I should never put that on my players. Yeah, no bleep. I mean, I get it. You're emotional. Like, people get emotional. Matt Brown's 70-something years old. He's done this for a while. He's one of 3 active college coaches. I believe that's right. To have won a national championship, right? Him, Kirby Smart, and Dabo Swinney are the only active coaches who have won a national championship. I mean, you're a leader, man. And I get it. Everybody makes a mistake. I'm not saying you should get fired. All I'm saying is you got to know better. And I appreciate him coming out on Monday and saying, I can't do that to my kids, and that's on me. And it was unfair, and it was a bad look, and owning that. Because it was a bad look, and he needed to own it. Don't you think?
So we got Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports.
Is this just new?
Yes, this is 9:42 a.m.
Uh-huh.
An update on the other UNLV story. How about UNLV being not just the NIL potential game changer right now, but the tipping point for the Mountain West Conference? He says that the Mountain West is offering a new version of membership agreement to its 7 programs with sizable signing bonuses.
To each.
Doing it again.
And they're using the money that they believe they're getting in, which the Pac-12 is suing to not have to pay them, right? Well, good. I mean, they need to, though, dude. The bottom line is, if you got, let's just say you got $120 million sitting there, right? And what are you going to do with all that money? Well, you need to keep your league together. So $120 million right now divided by the 7 is $17 million each. What if you say, hey, stay together, and you, and I guess it would be UNLV and Air Force right now, you get an extra 4, 5, 6 million, whatever the number is. And I know you're in New Mexico, you're saying, don't give them more. Look, man, give them what you need to keep this thing together. Keep enough to attract some teams to get in, maybe Texas State.
Until the next domino, because you bent over backwards for Boise State, and then they stabbed you in the back as soon as they could find a big enough knife.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So do you not like this?
I think you have to do it, to your point. Like, you can't be left out in the wind. This gives you an opportunity to assess things over the next couple seasons. You saw what... Because the challenge in this, then, is we're sitting here and we've talked about woe is me and this stinks and yada yada yada. But then the Mountain West would have to do the same thing, right? And start poaching from somewhere else.
And beat the hell out of someone else's league, yeah.
And potentially do that. So it's a trickle down effect of you can all feel mad and upset about it, but the reality is this is the college athletics battle, and we got to take our feelings out of it. By the way, Gloria Nevada is bunkered down, not attending the D1 conference commissioners meetings in Chicago right now. Like, she's working hard on. That was also reported by Ross Dellinger. Like, they have a Mountain West associate there, but all in.
Yeah, I'm sure Brett's there, and he's in her stead, and she's taking care of what she's got to take care of. Julie Owen went. Yeah. Okay. I think they need to do this, and I'm telling you, I know that UNLV's brain trust is meeting today, and if you can, this is all about money. And if you can convince them to stay, then I think you have an opportunity to keep this together. If them and Air Force stay, then you've got 7, right? You can say, all right, if you add New Mexico State and UTEP, or if you want, whatever, then you've got an opportunity. And keep some money in your war chest. Keep $40 million or something to go out and incentivize people to come. There's going to be exit fees from whether it's Conference USA or wherever. No, I'm glad. So Ross Dellinger just reported that. I mean, I don't know that it's good news or not. It's an effort. I just appreciate the proactiveness. They need to do something. They need to fight. They may go down, dude. This league may go down. I don't think it will, but it may. But if you're going to go down, you got to go down fighting, don't you?
Yes, you do.
All right. Wow. Who knows what we'll have tomorrow when we sit down? I mean, honestly, who knows? Tomorrow, Jerry Palm's going to be with us. We get tomorrow. There's football, right? The Cowboys play tomorrow, don't they?
Football.
Did we talk about a game today?
Not a game.
I don't even think I looked at your sheet today.
Not a game. Dude, I know, and I don't even know why.
You worked your ass off on this. I'm sorry. I'm keeping this for tomorrow.
It's not you. It's just the reality is, I knew what the story was going to be.
I didn't crumple it up. That one stays. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On's in at 4. We're back with award-winning radio. We'll begin at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Adrian, go Dodgers, huh? Holy smokes. Turns into a really big one tonight. Great work. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.